my screen is just showing you two people.
I'm kind of the same way. I got you, Richard, Al, Rob, and myself.
I just have you and Bob and then two initial things.
Yeah, we got a lot of initials. But we're all, well, let's see.
Okay.
We're going to need Bob Don. Bob Don won't be here. He's in court. Ken. Is Ken there? No, KP is not there yet.
I don't think he's coming.
What was
This is
that?
Jane. This is Jane. I don't think Ken's coming. I forwarded you his email.
Oh, that's correct. That's correct. Where did I do with that?
Want me to send it to you again?
Yes, please.
You got it.
My problem this week was it was coming at me from all different directions. I guess Ken, Bob Doan, and I didn't hear from Bob Don. Okay, hold on one second. Let me get the other.
Aha.
My question is always the same. We have information from Ken. We don't have Bob Don yet. My question is, do we have a quorum for the surveying aspects?
Nope.
All right, we'll have to wait for Bob Don to see if he shows up. He's been ill.
I will say so far the reception is a lot better this time than it was with the last two meetings.
Right, you're loud and clear, John. It sounds good.
And nobody's breaking up. That's what my biggest problem last time. So that's good.
You do have a quorum. You have 5 out of 8.
Correct. It was just a matter of the quorum for the surveying. So we have Ken's recommendation and we can accept that, right? So do we have, just to be clear now, I just want to make sure as we go forward, do we have the quorum for surveying? We have Al, Tony, and that's it. If we can accept Ken Peterson's input.
Ryan, can you help them with this, please?
I think we're all right. Well, do we? Al, Tony, and Ken. We don't have Bob Doan on the surveying aspect, even though he could do it, but he didn't. So we only have 3 votes.
So to clarify, there are currently 4 members for the public lands surveying appointed.
Correct?
Correct. And it is your practice that only those members vote on the land surveying aspects of the
Correct.
boards.
Well,
So, I'm sorry, go ahead. And the public member.
well, Bob
So
Doan, myself, and the other 3 surveying members, one of which we don't have right now. It's vacant because Kurt left. So
Right. So
Today, we have 3 out of potentially 5 members.
So it's a bit naughty here. Quorum typically only applies to the constitution of a meeting. So you have a quorum for the constitution of the Pels board right now because you have a majority of the appointed members. Typically, there aren't sub-votes, subgroups of votes that happen at these types of meetings. But if it's your practice that you would like a quorum of the subgroups, for example, land surveying, you would like a quorum of that, then it would be a quorum of those that have been appointed to that group. So the 4 members that have been appointed plus the public member that would participate. So of the 5, you would need 3 votes.
All right, we have 3.
If you
We
would
have
like to
Al,
constitute a
myself, and Ken Peterson. So we're quorumed okay on that. All right.
All right, good.
I think we're in good shape, so let's get started. Okay?
Thank you, Ryan.
So we're going to start with the roll for today, March 7th. It's about 9:10. Tony DeAndrea is here. John DeWolf
Here,
and Rob Lewandowski,
Here.
Al Regina,
Here.
and Richard Swezak.
Here.
We have received input for review from Ken Peterson, our land surveying member, and similarly from Bob Doan, an engineering and LS member, who has been called to testify in court this morning. So I think we'll just work along our normal process of taking input from Janita. If you have anything to report, get you on your way.
I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. I do not have a report for the Engineering and Land Surveying Board today. We just changed into the month of March, and the reports for January 1st, 2023 through February 28th, 2023, I only started running last week, and unfortunately, I was in the field for 2 days with a new inspector doing inspections on construction sites. Your group is the only board that I have that meets monthly. Everybody else meets bi-monthly. So I will have a report for you for your meeting next month.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that.
Thank you,
So
sir.
You can go back to the construction site and enjoy your day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you much.
All right. The next item I think we have that we can discuss, and since we don't have our Bob Don yet, we'll just delay on the surveying. Normally we take that now, so we get rid of those few items, but we'll move on to our one item of correspondence, which was an inquiry from an individual representing a firm, Green Skies Clean Energy LLC. Question is, does he need to be licensed as the firm? My answer is yes. And how do you do that? Well, you're an LLC, fill out the form, send it in. Does that make sense?
yes,
So we've often said, and I think was a consensus, if you're setting specifications, you're practicing engineering. And therefore, that's what it seems that they're doing. He's being paid for a service and setting specifications as I read it. And therefore, you should be licensed or registered as a corporate entity. So Jane, if the board agrees, I think that's the recommendation. As an LLC, you're eligible to file for registration, and you should do so.
I completely agree.
I
Was
will
it
let
mo-
them know. Oh, sorry.
Okay. We need a motion. I think there's a motion to be had.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Al. The
I'll
motion is,
Second,
thank you, Richard. Motion is to advise Mr. Chuck Ladd, PE, and architect that Green Skies Clean Energy LLC may be eligible for registration and should apply accordingly. I only throw in the may because we haven't seen the application. All those in favor of the motion to advise Mr. Ladd as such, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. So that leads us to our regular agenda items, which we will start with on, well, I can't reference a page, but it's the first page of our agenda item. So our new business indicated that we did have several applicants who passed the CBT exams from NCWS. We had Biondi Buchin on page 1, and then Drakenberg through Williams. We had chemical, civil, mechanical, and environmental, covered the whole spectrum of applicants, of disciplines rather. So that's just for the record. CBT is alive and well. So moving on, we had class 1 exam credit part 1. We had a few applicants reviewed by several of us. I reviewed the first one, Mr. Corey Kaleem Christian. Credit part 1, Penn State graduate in May of 18, and mechanical is his specialty. I would recommend his approval for class 1 credit part 1. Is there a motion to accept my recommendation?
So move.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Rob. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And Rob reviewed Catherine Marlene Irwin for class 1 credit part 1.
Yeah, I reviewed her application, good references, good degree, good experience, straightforward. I recommend
You
approval.
went mute.
You hear me?
Now
Can
you're
you hear me
good.
now, Tony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I reviewed her proposal, her application, good references, good degree, good experience, straightforward. I recommend approval.
Okay,
I
second.
second that.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And Richard Swisak reviewed Travis Carranza and Brian Maloney.
Okay, I'm going to start with Brian Maloney. He received his degree in May of 2020. And that's only been like less than 3 years. And what he was counting on is he did an internship. And I don't believe that he can count on his internship as experience, only because the experience should occur after you gain your degree. So for Mr. Maloney, I would say that we don't approve his application only because he needs more experience, and he should not count any experience before his degree.
That's been our policy, and I concur.
So,
He needs experience past after the degree.
correct. So I'll make a motion that we just alert Mr. Maloney that he needs experience after his degree. He cannot count on any experience before his degree.
Agreed. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Rob. So Jane, we have to just notify him that our policy has been that the experiences that must be obtained after the degree. So all those in favor of the motion to deny at this time, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
And in terms of the other application, Carranza, I'll make a motion that we accept their application for
Second.
credit.
I'll second.
Thank you, Rob. All those in favor of the motion to approve Carranza, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Bob Doan reviewed Motai and Mukherjee. His recommendation is for approval of Kevin Motai. So is there a motion to accept that recommendation? I'll make that recommendation.
moved.
I'll make the motion, yeah.
I'll move.
Second,
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Richard. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Now, in the case of Merkergy, there was no evaluation attached. So Jane, do you know if it were misplaced or if it was in the file?
I'm gonna look right now.
What was that?
I'm gonna look right now.
Okay. I noticed that on one of mine, when I initially thought that I didn't have the evaluation, on a quick look on subsequent review, without going to the videotape, I found out that NCWS now provides just a one page, whereas before there was a kind of a lengthy evaluation of every course. So I don't know if that's the trend, but it may have just been missed as one sheet. However, we'll wait till Jane sees on that one. Which leads us to the next applicants, Soderholm and Urich, that John DeWolf reviewed.
Urich has a foreign degree, but it was evaluated by NCEES and there's no deficiencies. So I move approval of both Soderholm and Urich.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Al. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Now, the next group of applicants we have are for Class 4 reciprocity. There were 8 applicants rather, that I reviewed. Just as a note, 7 of the 8 were model law engineers. And 3 out of the 8 had masters, which is moving toward that BS plus 30 of the model law objective. But having said all that, I found all of them to have the appropriate education and experience, and all of them are currently registered or licensed in other jurisdictions. So my recommendation is to approve. Is there a motion to accept my recommendation?
So moved.
Thank you, Richard.
Second.
Thank you, John. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And Rob Lewandowski reviewed the next group of applicants for Class 4 reciprocity, Castillo through Giguere. I don't know if I pronounced that one very well, but
All right, let me, there's 2 non-model law applicants, Andrew Chillo and Daniel Ciaramicoli. All right, and I'll talk about both those in a second. The rest of them are all model law, good experience, good degree, straightforward applications. The first one, Andrew Chillo, has a bachelor's in finance from Manhattan College. He is licensed in New York, 10 years of experience, and but he doesn't have an engineering degree. So I don't. So my
How did that
recommendation,
happen?
yeah, I don't know. But when I looked at his transcript, there's actually quite a few engineering classes in there, which is surprising. I don't think it got to the extent of an equivalent of engineering because his degree is in finance. But so Andrew Chillo, I would stand it alone, Tony, and
yep.
My recommendation is to deny based on lack of an accredited engineering degree.
Second.
For a second.
I second.
Thank you, John. Any further discussion? I concur with the the summation because it's been our policy to have that undergraduate engineering degree. We're not going to waiver, and this is a good example. All those in favor of the motion to deny due to the lack of an ABET accredited engineering curriculum undergraduate. All those in favor of the motion to deny, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
All right, now the second non-straightforward application was Daniel Sierra McCauley. And he is not a model law because of a technology degree from Wentworth, is registered in Maine and Rhode Island, has 9 years of experience. So I will lump him in with approval of the balance of the applicants who are all model law, good degrees, good experience, and recommend approval for the balance.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Al. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve Castillo through Flood without Chilo on page 3 and Freiberg through Gauguer on page 4, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Thank you, Rob. And Richard reviewed a group of Class 4 reciprocity applicants from Glowney through Melchior.
And, I'll start that, I had 3 applicants that were non-model law. Islam had a degree from India and was 3 hours short of a general educations, but basically we have been accepting that as being equivalent.
Yes,
Khan Nook had a degree from Turkey, and it was deemed equivalent by the NCAAS. And the only other non-model law was Gary Michael Lee, and he took his PE exam in Colorado in 1974. And at that time, Colorado wasn't using an NCAAS approved testing test. So they deemed him as non-model law, but in reality, it's acceptable. So I'll make a motion that we approve, the applications that I receive with the stipulation that Jeffrey Haas, we just verify that he has an active license because his Florida license that he has expired in February.
oh, Jeffrey Haas, okay.
Correct.
Subject to verification.
Right.
Okay,
So I'll make a motion, with that stipulation.
for a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Rob. All those in favor of the motion to approve Glowney through Melchior with a verification of Jeffrey Haas current registration, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And Bob Doan did a thorough review of the applicants like McManus, Murphy, and Murray through Sabaki. And he has one qualification, which is for, let's see, what's his name? Well, Rahman is the name, Rahman, MDS, Rahman. And we don't have an evaluation of his foreign degree, so let's take that one separate. Let me just review one more point here. Okay, so anyway, MD Rahman, we don't have an evaluation, and so unless Jane has that, I think we should table that till we have the evaluation. It doesn't say where the degree was from, but I think we should table it. So is there a motion to accept this
I'll move to
recommendation to table?
I will move to table his application until we get a evaluation.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Richard. I think that's appropriate. We have to stay as consistent a policy as we can, as we should. So all those in favor of the motion to table MDS Raman, contingent upon having his degree, foreign degree evaluated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries to table. Bob pointed out also that he wanted to make the comment that Brendan O'Shea is a BS in aerospace engineering from West Point, which for some reason NCAAS claimed is non-ABET accredited. However, does have a master's from George Washington, and he is licensed in Virginia. So Bob's recommendation is to recommend approval, but wanted to point that out to the rest of the board. I don't
Probably,
think it's-
probably our next astronaut.
Yeah, so I have no
Is it an
qualms about any education coming out of West Point, and the fact that he has a
It's
master's
an
and is
engineering
licensed.
degree? Is
What
it
was
an
that, John?
engineering degree? Is it an engineering degree?
His master's is in construction management from George Washington. His undergraduate from West Point is BS in aerospace engineering.
Okay, okay.
I'm not afraid of it.
Okay.
So is there a
I'm-
motion to
I'm okay.
accept his recommendation to approve McManus through Sabaki, including Brendan O'Shea from West Point? And we've already tabled Raman due to the need for an evaluation. So is there a motion to accept his recommendation?
I'll make the motion.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, John. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. I don't understand, and perhaps we should have had a discussion more about it, but I don't understand what would be unaccredited from West Point at this point. Sometimes we've heard, right, John, at one time, UConn's environmental program wasn't quite accredited because it was in progress, but nevertheless, it ultimately became accredited and was on that track. But anyway, curious, I'll have to find out.
Yeah,
And
they
John,
just
you-
probably decided to accredit it because they didn't think it was important. I don't know.
Yeah,
Other programs are accredited though from West Point, I assume.
yes. Certainly not a technical degree, but technology college. All right, anyway, John, you reviewed Schmidt through Wright on our agenda for Class 4 reciprocity.
Okay, Sabella has a foreign degree. It was reviewed by NCEES with no deficiencies and works and when both have Bachelor of Technology degree, Bachelor of Science Technology degrees, and each one has 25 years experience, so they're okay. So I move that we approve Schmidt through Wright.
Thank you, John. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Thanks, Rob. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. While we're on our regular agenda, there was one request for reinstatement. I reviewed it for Mr. John Valerio. Put my hands on it here. I'm looking for my actual notes, but I have it noted on the agenda here that he was from University of Hartford in '81. He has a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. He was continually licensed in New York. Therefore, I would recommend reinstatement. Is there a motion to accept my recommendation?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, John.
Second.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor of the motion to reinstate Mr. John Valerio, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
And Tony, I did send you the evaluation on that class 1.
Class one. Hold on one second. Let me go back to there. On my list, it was,
It was reviewed by Doan.
oh, Bob Doan. Yes.
Bob Doan.
Okay,
So I sent you the eval.
it's fine. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I sent you the evaluation from NCES from that one.
Right. Let me see.
That's ramen there, right, Tony?
What was that?
That's ramen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, Raman.
No, not that one. That was a class 4. Its the last name is Mukherjee. I don't know how to say it.
Mukherjee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was under my list at Bob Doan's list of class 1. I was okay. I'm on a different computer here, so I'm looking to see if I can find that right now, but oh, here it is, Jane. All right, this is now this is the long form, but that's good. I guess maybe I only got the first page of the one I reviewed. But this evaluation is fine, so I would recommend approval. Well, we already did that. We did it subject to the evaluation on Mukherjee. Let's make it official in case I
So
missed
then
it.
he's okay.
Yes,
If we did it, so he's okay. So do you want another motion or is it acceptable?
let's just do another motion, John. Just, I
Okay, I'll
can't
move
remember how we
that
did it.
I'll
So the
be- I'll
evaluation
move
is
that-
good for Mukherjee for class 1 credit part 1. So John has moved to accept the recommendation of Bob Doan. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor of approval for class 1 credit part 1 for Mukherjee, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Thank you, Jane, for following up on that. Now, getting back to our regular agenda. Actually, we're back on our supplemental agenda.
Wait a minute. What about the minutes on the
We're gonna,
regular?
we can get to those now if you want, but we still have the supplemental agenda to continue with. Shall we do that?
Okay.
All right. So now we're on the supplemental agenda. John, you reviewed Curley and O'Connor credit part 1 for class 1.
No, I didn't.
No? Okay.
I don't. Did I get those?
Yeah, they were sent to
I have
you
not-
on Friday.
I
can
guess I
forward
didn't
it.
see them.
And we had the other one, Tony, that we needed to add, Raymond Bassar, that you guys did in the last minute for me.
Yeah, John actually
The
looked
one
at that yesterday.
So I'll move approval of that one.
Okay.
The one that
That
was
was Bassar.
circulated yesterday.
Second.
Right. Okay, that was for Raymond Bassar. John recommends approval. Richard seconded. All those in favor of the motion to approve Bassar for class 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Okay. Now, Richard, you reviewed, let's see now what's happening here.
Anwar and Lamashane.
Lamashane. So that was a permit class 1 exam, credits part 1 and 2, and approved class 1 license, meaning that they took them in different states,
Correct.
but
Correct.
not. Okay,
And they did not apply for a license in the state that they took their exam in.
correct.
All right, so Both of them was non-model law. And it had foreign degrees. Mr. Anwar had his degree from India, and he has a master's and a PhD. And he was just 4 hours short in general education. So, but the only question I have from him is he got his initial degree in 2009, and
Honor.
he only lists 5 years and 3 months of experience, including some teaching assignments that he did along the way of getting his master's and his PhD. So there's, like 9 years of, I'm not sure what he did. So, but
What's his recent experience?
hold-
What does- I mean,
yeah.
is he currently
Yeah,
working?
he's currently employed. Yes, yes. And so, I mean, it's just that there was a big blank period. So, but anyways, I just wanted to point that out in terms of,
Okay.
he did not account for all his time. And Ms. La Machine had her degree out in Nepal. And it was deemed equivalent. So I'll make a motion that we accept both applications.
Thank you, Richard.
I'll second.
Thanks, Al. All those in favor of the motion to approve Anwar and Lamashane for Class 1 credit parts 1 and 2, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
So Tony, I just want to let you know I did resend the email to you and to John with those two class 1s, and there were also 2 class 4s on there as well. I don't know if John can take a quick look at those.
I-
Or...
I can't-
I'm looking at them at the moment, and I'm okay.
We'll come back to them.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Just hold on one sec, please. Because things were coming in at different times, I started packaging them up at different times, and then I can't follow them all because they all come at different times, and I got to assemble them. But anyway, now I'm back to where I want to be. So I reviewed the next 2 applicants for Class 4 reciprocity, Arango and Buma. I am recommending approval of both. Buma had an evaluation which was very good, currently licensed in DC and Florida. And Mr. Arango is a multi-disciplined electrical and environmental engineer with a model law designation from NCEES. So my recommendation is to approve both Arango and Buma. Is there a motion to accept my recommendation, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Rob. The second?
I'll second.
I don't know who that was. Who was
Al.
that?
Well,
Oh, Al. Thank you, Al.
We keep waiting for Al to say something.
Well, I only see the top of Al's head, so I can't see his lips move.
I get the 10 seconds of silence, yes.
All those in favor of the motion to approve Arango and Buma for Class 4 reciprocity, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. And Rob Lewandowski reviewed Chan Krameen's Darmavan and Giordano and Grendick.
Okay, so Ferry Dharmawan is a non-model law due to a foreign degree. Had a Master's of Science from SUNY, but the base engineering degree is foreign. It was evaluated. It meets NCEES standards. Foreign degree from Indonesia. The rest of them are all model law, good degrees, good experience, and Ferry Dharmawan has good experience as well. So I do recommend approval of all of them.
Thank you, Rob. All those in favor of the motion to
Second,
approve?
well, I'll second. I was waiting for
Thank you,
Alan.
Richard.
It wasn't gonna do that.
Were you afraid Al was gonna take the second?
No. You were making the
He's
voting when
making-
we didn't
he's
have a
making
second.
sure I'm awake.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, that motion carries. And now, Richard, you reviewed LaRose and Nicola
Yes,
for class 4 reciprocity.
LaRose is model law, and Nicola had a degree from Romania. And I found it interesting that she graduated from the Transylvania University. And it just made me laugh a little bit when I read that. So
Did
I
it
don't know
make the
why.
hair on
I
your
don't know
neck
why.
stand up or something?
But it just made me laugh. But I'll make a motion that we accept both applications because Nicolas was equivalent, deemed by NCWS.
I'll
Your
second it.
second?
I'll second.
Second. Oh,
Thanks, Al. All those in favor of the motion to approve LaRose and Nicola, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Bob Doan.
Tony,
reviewed
I'm
the-
I'm ready to look.
Okay.
I've looked at the 4 I have, and I'm ready to make motions.
Okay, you have Curley and O'Connor for class 1 credit part 1.
Okay, the only question I have on O'Connor is it's a Morgan State University in Baltimore CE program. Is that accredited?
I have no idea.
It's not a place I'm familiar with.
Right,
Yeah, me neither.
good. Well, we'll have to
Jane, do
find
we
out.
know if it's-
The state.
Okay,
I can look
what-
into it. I can look into
So
it
I'm-
and
Right.
see if I can find out right away.
Okay. At
Well,
one
why-
time, we
I
had
could
an
make a motion.
ABET manual, right? Did they provide that to you, Jane?
I
There
think
wasn't-
there's a website now.
Right, okay.
Well, let me see if I can find it.
All right, we'll hold off on O'Connor. How about Curley, James Curley, John?
I'll move approval of Curley
There a
for
second?
class 1 credit part 1.
I'll second.
Thanks, Rob. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve James W. Curley for class 1 credit part 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. So we're gonna wait on Kyle O'Connor.
Okay, so I have
got-
2 for class 4 I can do.
Okay, where are those
for
now?
cl-
Let's see. Okay, all right, we'll turn
Rubio
the
and
page.
Struck.
All right, yeah, yeah. Let me finish with Bob Doan, okay, to finish that page, which is Pack and Plessia. So Bob Doan made a thorough review of Mr. Douglas Pack for class 4 reciprocity. He noted that he has from Keene State a BS in applied mathematics. And then he had a University of New Hampshire with a master's in civil engineering. But he apparently, according to his review, recommends denial due to the lack of the 4-year degree. So what we don't have then is an evaluation of whether or not the master's closed the gap. Bob Doan, in his review, feels it did not. So is there a motion to deny or table pending an evaluation of the master's program as filling in the gaps? Is that what we would consider, John?
I would just deny for lack of, I will move to deny for lack of a 4-year engineering degree.
Fine, that's Bob
Yes.
Doan's recommendation. So the motion right now is to deny based on the lack of a qualifying undergraduate engineering curriculum,
4-year accredited degree.
accredited 4-year.
And
I'll
that's
second.
which application? I'm sorry.
This is, class 4 reciprocity supplemental agenda, Douglas Pack, PAC.
Thank you.
He has a BS in applied mathematics as an undergraduate, therefore that would not meet our policy requirements for a 4-year accredited, ABET accredited engineering curriculum.
I'll second it.
Or equivalent.
So John's made the motion to deny, and who is second?
Al,
Al, thank you, Al. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to deny Douglas Pack due to the lack of a qualifying 4-year ABET accredited undergraduate engineering curriculum, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries to deny. That leaves us to Michael Elliott Plessia, and Bob Doan recommends approval. Is there a motion to approve his recommendation?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you, Richard. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Rob. All those in favor of the motion to approve Michael Elliott Plessia for class 4 reciprocity, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. While we're on that page, Bob also reviewed the reinstatements for Main Ridge, Pelletione, Rainey, and Farone. Pelletione, I work with them all the time, so it's only lapsed since 22. So anyway, Bob's recommendation is to reinstate all 4. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation?
I'll make the motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Rob.
Oh.
Second?
Second.
Thanks, John. All those in favor of the motion to approve Main Ridge, Pelletione, Rainey, and Farone for reinstatement, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. One thing about,
Tony, I'm ready. I'm ready to do the class 4 that are
Okay.
on the.
we're going there right now. I just want to ask one question on Bob Doan. He said he's in court this morning because he's the WEO for Essex. Does anybody know what WEO would stand for? Wetlands officer? I don't know. I'll have to find out. It was an abbreviation I didn't recognize. All right, now let's see, John, we're on our
Page 2 of the supplemental. I
Yes, sir.
have 2 class 4, Rubio and Struck, and I
Struck.
move approval.
Okay, thank you, John. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor of the motion to approve Rubio and Struck for class 4 reciprocity, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
Tony, if you want to circle back to Mr. O'Connor, I did
Yes,
find
please.
him
Yes, please.
on the ABET accreditation list. That
Okay,
his
now-
degree civil engineering is on there.
This is O'Connor. Now say
Okay.
again, what was it? It was accredited?
Yep, it's accredited under ABET.
Okay, thank you. John, you want to make a motion on Kyle O'Connor for class 1 credit part 1?
So move.
Is there a
Second.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor of the motion to approve Kyle O'Connor from the State University of Baltimore for class 1 credit part 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, Jane, for looking it up for me. And I apologize for missing the email with the 4 supplemental
Hey.
evaluations.
No worries.
WEO, Wetlands Environmental Officer.
Ah. Okay, thank you very much, Al. Quick look. Now, we have to move carefully here because we have our quorum of Al, myself, and Ken as a quorum on the land surveying issues, which have been reviewed carefully by Ken Peterson. So there are 6 applicants under class 6 and class 8. Ken's thorough review results in a recommendation to approve all 8. So let's take the class 6 first. Blaze through Oscandi. He recommends approval. So is there a motion to accept this recommendation, Al?
So moved.
And I'll second it. All those in favor of the motion to approve, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And so we have we have Ken, Al, and myself. So that's a quorum. We can be named the what's the guy? I'm trying to think of what the guy that can come up with a solution for anything. What is it? What's his name?
MacGyver.
Huh?
MacGyver.
MacGyver. We're MacGyver surveyors today. And Ken Peterson also reviewed Black and Hunsaker for Class 8 exam, and he thoroughly endorses them for approval. So is there a motion to accept his recommendation?
So moved.
Thank you, Al. I will second. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Thank you, Al. Motion carries.
I always said I want to be a cartoonist.
Oh, my goodness. All right, then for a formality again, we have a group of applicants or licensees who have passed their EIT, so Class 9 license. There's a motion to approve those individuals: Casey, Deshanes, Kim, Lee, Smith, Terranova, and Wondolowski.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Rob. Is there a second?
I'll second it. I think Al's
Richard?
worn out now.
What's that?
Nothing.
I'm resting on my laurels now.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 And I think we've done the reinstatements, which we did. Bob Doan had reviewed those, Main Ridge, Pelliccione, and Rainey. We just voted on those a few moments ago. And we also added on the Ferrone, which was on the supplemental. All right, now that actually closes out our regular and supplemental agenda, unless I missed something.
Accept approval of the minutes.
Yes, sir. So the minutes were reviewed. My comment initially was that the minutes were titled agenda and the number of pages was 10, but they were listed as of 8. So those are my only comments to correct that. Jane, I don't know if they were corrected in the end.
So I had an issue with that because when I was looking at it, it would just say agenda. And then Jason had sent me another link and it picked up the minutes. But I actually have one correction to the minutes as well. It's just Jen, I don't know if you can take care of this on the reinstatements for Brian Donovan. His license number is 34237.
34237. Gotcha.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. Let me just get. Which was that one now? Reinstatement?
It was for Brian Donovan. I had made an error on his license number. I reversed 2 numbers.
No,
So
that's
I
okay. It's just, oh, there it is. There it is. No, I don't actually have that.
Yeah, he was on the February agenda. Or no.
It's a
February
Class 9.
agenda for reinstatement.
No, so I'm looking at the
It's
minutes
also
here.
the-
I see
Brian
Michael
Polly is a
Thomas.
Class 9 license.
I still don't see it, but
I have to look at the minutes again.
Hey, Tony, it's page 8.
Yeah,
Brian
page 8,
Donovan.
top of the page.
okay. Well, I don't have it. That was one of the things that my version. I guess I didn't receive the the revised version. Because mine is, page 9 of 8 and page 10 of 8. And the reinstatements, I have Michael Thomas and Angel Perez. Right, I don't have a copy of the final minutes. Because again, my copy is titled Agenda.
I have a copy of the draft meeting minutes of February 7th, and they're 10 pages. And
Okay.
Brian Palma is listed as a Class 9 license.
So his name's Brian
On page
Donovan.
7. Oh,
Jane, if you wouldn't mind, I don't have the final draft of the minutes, so I perhaps I missed it in the transmission. But I just want to have it for my file for this year. So anyway.
Okay, I'll forward it to you.
Okay, so the point is, right now, we've had recommendations for amendments or corrections. So if they've been made, then we should just send them one more time for the file. So is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
I'll make that motion.
Thank
so
you, Al.
moved.
Thank you, John. All those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes from February 7th as amended today, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion would carry. All right, I think we covered everything on the agendas. Is that correct?
All right, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Al. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you,
Second.
Richard. It's about 10 o'clock. Sometimes it seems like we're rushing, but I got to keep the movement, the momentum. All right. We're going to see each other again and I appreciate that at the end of the agenda reminding us. I have them on my calendar, but I always want to make sure. And now, where is that? Now when I go to look for it, I can't find it.
Yeah, the last page, April 18th.
Yeah, April 18th anyway. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, that's a mistake I made. I piled them all together, supplemental, and it's okay, April 18th, yes. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Right,
remainder
see
of
ya.
the
Take
week.
care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.